Hello and welcome from Budapest. This is Hungary Reports from Public Media M1, bringing you the latest news from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin in English. I'm Arpad Szörci. Great that you can be with us. Tuesday has been a day of national celebrations in Hungary, as August 20th is the day the first Christian king of Hungary, Saint István, also known as Saint Stephen, took to the throne more than 1,000 years ago. He's also responsible for converting his countrymen to Christianity. Events were held across the country, including air and water shows. The country's president also reminded people about much more recent achievements when 30 years ago, Hungary helped dismantle communism in Eastern Europe.
The national flag bearers were being accompanied by drummers as they approached Parliament at Kossuth Square. After the hoisting of the national flag, Minister of Defense Tibor Benke thanked the 130 young officer candidates outfitted in full military attire who were preparing to be sworn in. The minister asked the soldiers to be proud of carrying the name of Hungary's armed forces home with. He added that in order for maintaining peace and providing security, Hungary needs a strong military. Afterwards, the young officer cadets took their formal oaths. And according to ancient Hungarian traditions, they highlighted that with the rattling of their sabers. This year, several hundred onlookers watched the celebrations with interest. The president pointed out that Hungarians are rightly proud of their achievements 30 years ago. He said, "Their exhaustive, tenacious work was as if you were disassembling an empire of lies brick by brick, so that a citizen's democracy could be built in its place." 30 years ago, hope returned finally that the country would become once more a homeland for Hungarians. A homeland where we could put together a world the way our hearts dictated, where we could shape our own laws and expel foreign, barbaric ideas, said the country's president. After 9 a.m., 3 army helicopters appeared overhead. That started off the air and water show at the Danube River segment that cuts through the Hungarian capital. This year, huge crowds watched till the end the military's water performance, as well as the Gripen helicopters and maneuvers by paratroopers. The entire square at the Budapest Basilica was totally packed by the afternoon to watch celebrations. And thousands also came from other countries in the Carpathian Basin, especially from Hungarian minority regions. At the celebratory Mass, the Cardinal Archbishop of Esztergom Budapest said that the celebration of St. Stephen is also a day of gratitude and faith. Getzker also works behind the scenes of external events in our own individual lives and in the faith of nations. If we recognize his plan and cooperate with him, values are created and our lives will be blessed throughout, said the Cardinal. Cardinal Híradó then blessed the bread of Hungarians. The ceremony then ended with the procession of the Szent Jobb, which highlights the preservation of the actual right hand of St. Stephen.
And celebrations also took place in Hungarian communities in the United States, who held events on the weekend. In Los Angeles, they held a procession and a church service where they also unveiled a bust of St. Stephen at the Hungarian church there named after him. The sculpture was financed by donations from both local Hungarians and by the Hungarian state. And in Chongqing, China, in honor of St. Stephen's Day, downtown skyscrapers in the city were done up in the red, white, and green of the Hungarian flag. Together with the Hungarian consulate that works out of this metropolis in the southwest with a population of 30 million, animation about the establishment of the Hungarian state was projected on the facades of 9 skyscrapers. The flag was even projected on one of the city's most emblematic buildings, the Grand Theater. The light show was also done to celebrate 70 years of diplomatic relations between Hungary and China. And Hungary's highest order, the St. Stephen Order, goes to a Hungarian neurobiologist who is helping some of the blind see again thanks to his research. Botond Roska has developed therapies, including gene therapy, to restore vision in retinal disorders and especially in genetic forms of blindness.
Neurobiologist Boton Droska has received the honor of the Order of St. Stephen from the President of Hungary this year. The medical researcher has gained international recognition for developing vision-based gene therapy.
Tisztelt professzor úr!
Dear Professor, the international scientific community agrees that thanks to your work, we know more about the process of vision than ever before. This is how the President of Hungary began to praise the professor. Living in Basel, Switzerland, the Hungarian microbiologist Boton Droska has been working on bringing back the eyesight of the visually impaired by combining different disciplines for the past 14 years. Droska Botont has already received the Louis Genet Prize for his research this year. Receipt of this prize is considered the precursor to winning the Nobel Prize. In an interview to public media's M5 channel, the medical researcher said that he regarded the Order of St. Stephen as the greatest award of his life. I was born in Hungary. I grew up there. I'm Hungarian, and it is good for a man if he is appreciated by his own community, by his own country, the professor said. Since the 20th of August 2013, the Order of the Hungarian St. Stephen has been given by the President of Hungary to those who have produced outstanding works of life and received considerable international acclaim. Among others, Olympic champion swimmer Krisztina Egerszegi, author and recipient of the Nobel Prize Imre Kertész, as well as the inventor of the Rubik's Cube, Ernő Rubik, have received this recognition in recent years.
Debrecen, in the east of the country, has displayed some flower power with its 50th Flower Parade. It features a record number of 18 very imaginative floats decorated with special arrangements, and hundreds of thousands were there to take in the event.
The buzzing bees are carrying the honey into the huge hive. It is the largest float of the 50th Flower Parade. The 21-meter-long construction symbolizes the diligent city of Debrecen. A broken Miska jug, the legend of St. László, known around the world as St. Ladislaus, a polar bear family, a puffing steam locomotive, and an airplane were all made of flowers. 20 types of freshly cut flowers decorate the 18 spectacular flowered carriages. In one day, 500 students and volunteers were able to make decorations out of hundreds of thousands of just dahlias. Arts groups also participated in the carnival procession. Hundreds of thousands of spectators were entertained by this German group on stilts and by these young Dutch people who played music while riding their bikes. There were some who traveled hours to see the colorful crowds. There was a huge crowd at the flower float show in the afternoon as well. Lots of photos were taken non-stop, and everyone could see the huge compositions up close. I've never seen so many flowers together in one place, one of the visitors said. At the international show, the audience could also applaud the performances of the groups at the 50th Flower Parade.
The Carpathian Basin Bread of Hungarians features Hungarian minority communities in the surrounding countries contributing to baking bread that is intended to show solidarity between Hungarian communities not in the mother country. These communities provide the wheat and then have their bakers do the bread making. And this time it all happened in the central Hungarian city of Szolnok. This year the contributions from 5 regions went into the oven.
The huge loaves of bread were made with great work and expertise in Szolnok. Once the dough was done, the bakers put it into the oven to make the bread of the Carpathian Basin bread in time. The bakers came from Hungarian communities. They're from the cities of Zenta, Révkomárom, Beregszász and Sepsiszentgyörgy, as well as from Lipót in Hungary, to make the 5 loaves of bread representing national unity. Everyone who feels we are Hungarian must participate in every event that represents the sense of togetherness. Not only do we need to talk about it, but it must also be proven by actions that we do something for our nation, said a baker from the Szekla land in Romania. The first huge bread of the Carpathian Basin was baked 9 years ago. Since then, a bigger and bigger loaf has been managed to be made almost every year. Yet this year, they would have liked to make the celebration memorable with something else. That's why the idea was born, that this year we would not bake the so-called pityókás bread, that is a huge and thick loaf of 250 to 300 kilograms, but instead we would make several smaller loaves, the main organizer said. These loaves represent the separated parts of Hungary. The loaves were put onto a cart in the afternoon in order to be sliced on the bank of the Tisza River after the consecration.
The Maros Menti Art Workshop has been in existence in Mako since 2007. Each year, the creative works have a theme, with this year's being the labyrinth, which you can see in the artists' creations. They can be out of clay, porcelain, drawings, and even photos. You can check it all out at the city's József Attila Museum. And as the summer slowly ends, you can still check out a lot of interesting things at the Game Preserve in Kecskemét. The animal feedings are especially a sight, and not only is it the gamekeepers who feed the bears, rhesus monkeys, and Asian small-clawed otters, visitors can also take part, such as feeding ponies and llamas. And some of these animals are more than just curious. And that's all for today, but we'll be back same time, same place, right after the Hungarian language news at 11 p.m. local time, and also in repeats and online. Please stick around now if you can for our new shows in German, Russian, and Chinese. Thanks very much for watching, and viszontlátásra!